Well, I've lived in Stroud for at least 30 years, but my childhood wasn't spent in Stroud. But it used to be a very community-based place, but now it's actually coming back to that way, because we've got a lot of young families moving in, and they're all sort of trying to regenerate all the old architecture, make sure all the shops are, you know, the smaller shops are open. Well, I've always felt comfortable in Stroud, and you can always stop and talk to someone like you've chosen me to speak to, which is amazing, you know, because obviously I look approachable, you're approachable, and it's very nice that a younger person speaks to someone that is much, much older and has been round the block a few times. We're here to pass on knowledge that we've got to people. My late husband was an architect, yes, and my middle daughter is an engineer, so it's passing on.
Well, you know that Stroud is surrounded by hills, it's set in the hills. Well, years ago, and I think they've started doing it again, right up on the top of the hills, there's a place called Chalford, and they used to use a donkey to take all the supplies up the hills to the people that lived in the cottages at the top, because nobody could carry anything up there. And then it faded into oblivion, didn't it? Recently someone thought of doing it again, so I think they've got hold of a donkey and they're starting to do it again, just for the hell of it, I think, really. That's something I remember. But obviously that was before all the buses. Some of the buses go up there now, but not very many. So I suppose that's why they went rerouted by donkey again. But well, there's lots of little stories like that, really.
My father was a scrap dealer, and when I left school I went helping him till I got married. I don't know. I just had a wonderful childhood. Lovely. Being a tomboy, climbing apple trees and things like that. Yeah, and there's a place along Summer Street, and it's called Swiss Hill. And we used to go and play there as children. Cowboys and Indians. And I remember having this bad dream one night. It must have been playing on my mind, because I woke up crying and my mum said, "What's the matter? You've had a bad dream." And I said to her that my brother Roy had been shot by an Indian with a bow and arrow. And it wasn't, it was just a dream.
I'm making a new quilt now, but I have an old quilt which I bought in Afghanistan, actually, many years ago. And this quilt is the sort of thing you might want to put in such an attic, because I've added to it. It was ruined, it was falling apart. So some of the patches were worn out, and I've added bits of my own fabric. I've got a bit of embroidery that my grandmother did, stitched into it. It's not complete yet, it's still got gaps. 40 years ago, so I'm still making it, it's evolving. Loads of paintings, innumerable paintings. Myself, my mum, my dad, my husband. That's on. Some of them not so good. And my fabric collection, of course, which is a joy.
Stroud, I think, has always been a bit different from the other towns. It's less, there aren't so many of the big companies here. There's many more small shops and small individual businesses here, which is quite nice. It's not all, you know, many of the towns you go to, you have exactly the same shops wherever you go. I know you've got Costas and stuff, but for the most part there are more little shops like Moonflower and Finished. I don't know, they're all small individual enterprises rather than big chains, which is a nice aspect of it. We brought our first child. She came to have her, what's it called? She had it was a Von Too's baby, where they pull the baby out with a plunger. So she had her plates I can't remember what it's called. It's where they put the hands on the plates and the plates of the skull when they're really small. They what's it called? I can't remember. But anyway, you get those sorts of people practicing that sort of medicine here, which you wouldn't get elsewhere. That's really nice. And there's always quite good music at the reception rooms down there. It's a bit more individual, I think, at the time.
And you had a lot of old businesses, you know, family businesses, and clothing and butcher. There must have been about 10 butchers in this town, and now things have changed a lot, you know. Right through from saddlery for horses, right through to getting your shoes mended, and I'm talking about mended now, not just stuck on. Yeah.
Farmers market on a Saturday, that's what Stroud is very proud of. But I have just thought I could tell you one thing, which is I'm a Quaker, and we have a Quaker meeting in Stroud, which is in many ways a bit different from other Quaker meetings, and I think most things in Stroud are a bit different from the way they are elsewhere. There's a Stroud atmosphere, a Stroud air that makes everything a bit different in Stroud. Depends what you're talking about. You go to the farmers market and compare that with any other farmers market.
We used to build like dens in the countryside, like makeshift dens, but one day the builders come and knocked it all down. It's all houses now. Things like that, what sort of thing?
Well, in terms of me moving here, my defining moment, because I came from London, and so I was looking for a defining moment, you know, why should I go to Stroud, was up in a place called the Heavens, which is up there, looking over towards the Severn. The Severn, the river, do you know the river? And just seeing, this is late August, I think it was, and just seeing the light on, like a serpentinial light of sort of mercury, quicksilver, on the Severn, and that was a defining moment for me. Then I found this place, and it was the first place that I saw, and that was it. I didn't have to go through other houses. They said, we've got something for you. And the only other thing I saw a ghost in the multiplex, here, in the multiplex cinema. But when I say a ghost, somebody who shouldn't have been there. I was the only person, as I understood it, in the auditorium, because usually they ask you what seat do you want to sit at. And they didn't this time. And I said, why don't you ask me what seat I want to sit at? He said, because you're the only person watching this film. And I was watching a horror film, in fact. And I saw the film, got up to go, and I saw a woman up in the top right-hand corner. And I thought, that's odd, I'm meant to be the only person here. So I waited, I kind of hovered, and she actually moved to get something. And I thought, well, I'm not going to wait. I'm not, you know, because... So I went out, went to the chap and said, why? I'm not the only person, there's a woman there in red, she's got a red coat on. And he said to me, aha, you've seen what other people have seen. And there are some people who won't go into that particular screen. Not because they've seen anything, but because it's got a very bad vibe. Do you want to know what the name of the screen is? Screen 5.
I used to go swimming in the canal with the school. That's where you did your swimming lessons. You'll be allowed in it now.
I live in Stonehouse, which is 3 miles from Stroud. Stonehouse was very historical. It's got quite a lot there, you know. But I haven't been there all that long, you know, because my husband's business moved us about the country somewhat, you know. But my childhood up in the north of England was pretty tough. Because there was 7 of us lived in 2 rooms with mother and father, so that was 9. And my brothers had to sleep at my grandmother's, and the rest of us slept 4 in the bed. You know, but you know, we made it afterwards. You know, we done well. But I don't know very much. Perhaps this gentleman, I bet he's a Stroud man. Do you belong to Stroud? Do you belong to Stroud? No, no.
We've had a couple of murders where I live, but, well, one was a lady used to take lodgers, and she had this young girl staying, and the boyfriend came and he battered her to death up in the bedroom. And the other one was, she used to be a drunkard, and somebody came and set fire to her, to the bed and the room and all. but they never found who did that one, the other one.